wanted me to. Oh, good. There we go. Now I can just. That's funny. Popped up in two places.
You're really sending me this information.
Oops, I'm almost screwed up and sent the address. Is the wrong address? Why is it sending you the wrong? I don't even know. Share location. I never said share my location.
Okay.
All right, there we go. So now they both popped up. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now you've got...
The Daily Mail... Okay, moving right along. The Daily Mail UK posted an article in about the Chinese officials are testing ancient traditional remedies on patients.
This is correct.
And this is inspiring to me. I think it's awesome. I like it. They're currently scientists around the world are developing vaccines for coronavirus.
Well, I want to say this one thing to everybody in regards to Chinese medicines. Listen to this. Any substance.
They're the best in the world.
Here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. Any substance that you can put in your body that is safe for you, that is preferably organic, if you can't, organic. Anyway.
Mushrooms are awesome for boosting the immune
system. Here's the thing.
It's a natural antifungal, as well as cinnamon. High dosages of cinnamon. You can buy it on Amazon. 10,000 milligrams of cinnamon is a natural antifungal.
But here's the crazy part. I would, since we're talking about that, I want to. Once I find it, I'm going to send it to you. I'm gonna look it up in a second. But from what I understand, there is a weakness that might have mistakenly been built into the virus, but is a part of the virus. Anything.
Well, don't tell us now. Don't tell us right now.
No, you want to know. You want to know.
I want to know. You know, but don't tell us now.
Well, I'm telling you now because I'm smart. Put a billion quotation.
Smart.
No. Here we are. I'm smart, but put a billion quotation marks on either side of that phrase, that statement, right? So I'm saying this because now we're at the part where we can all breathe and laugh, and now here's our takeaway. We're empowering each other. If you feel like laughing, please laugh. I always laugh when dangerous things are happening. It's just part of my PTSD, whatever. So
it's not. It's just a lot. It's a lot to take in.
So because of the weakness that was built into the virus, and they haven't concurred and agreed that this is possible or the case, but because of the fact that it does have to, sorry, what?
I know you understand the corruption and the weaponization of the virus. But the layman, it's, you can.
In the virus, they put two different sequences two different portions of genetic code that are directly related to the AIDS virus, right?
Yeah, that is not something.
Hold on. This is what they found. This is what they found, and they go to PubMed.
Oh my god!
But here's the thing: is that these because of that, that's the weakness in it, and because of that weakness, from if you can find the strongest version, there's about 12 of them, technically maybe 13, but there's about 12 to 13 different special funguses that you can buy.
The developers are dead.
I'm sorry, what?
How do you know that if the developers of the virus are all dead?
Well, this is basically what everyone is coming to the realization of, is that that's a weak spot. They're like, that's a weak spot in the virus. This is what everyone is starting to understand that's been doing the research on it.
Please.
Because see, you got to remember that people, like, when people say things, listen, when people say things like that and they're studying it all around the world, I mean, okay, so you guys are shipping samples of this crap. Anyway, never mind the fact that, Bill Gates and his organization out of the UK that he's been putting money into.
Like an evil, nerdy demon.
Listen, they've already got the patent on it. Google coronavirus patent owner. Now, here's the crazy part. Time's out. All that means is potentially that Bill Gates
I want flesh right now.
and whoever
My body is like...
No, just out. Just breathe. Just breathe. Listen, all that means is that they're probably hiring people from different agencies to give them samples and for them to test in their labs. Now, whether or not this was again, I give you my word. It is going to come out that
it's going to come
all that happened was it's going to come out that all that happened was yes, Bill Gates and them were aware of it, but they probably listen. All they did no, it's not gonna listen. It's not going to come out that Bill Gates did it. It's only going to come out that Bill Gates was aware of the work and was squirreling away a vaccine, and they'll give him a DuPont / Smedley Butler slap on the wrist. No big deal. But again, this is China's bioweapon. They shot themselves with it, and it had a large spread. Now, all that's going to come out is that, hey, this thing's got two particular groups of genetic code and some sequences that are located in the AIDS virus. And because they've been put inside of this virus, they are incredibly weak and vulnerable to these 12 different types of funguses, specifically chaga mushrooms and these other 12. When I find out what these other 12 are, I will, or 11 or 13. I don't know exactly what the group is, but I do know that chaga is one of them. Oh, and Taiwan mushroom. There's another one that grows in Taiwan. The same. Has the same.
I feel hair. I
has the same effect.
on my.
But here's the big part. So this was built into it, right? This was built into it, or possibly a mistake, or possibly they totally just didn't realize that was one of the situations. So those 12 or 13 funguses. Listen, if you're going to run out and buy some chaga, please, the fresher the better, but not just the fresher the better. You can drink it as a tea. If you get the powder, that's fine, but please remember, make sure you can find out that the chaga mushroom or the Taiwan that you're drinking in a tea or you're ingesting or whatever, specifically the chaga, but also maybe the Taiwan. I still need to do more research. You need to make sure.
Wine, preferably some wine. Nice bottle of wine.
So some wine. I'll get some wine, I guess. but because it's got antioxidants, and you'll definitely need that. But if it's red. Otherwise, you're drinking the white. You're going to be swallowing a lot more paraffins, which won't help you. But the point is, you want to make sure that it's the chaga that's coming off that's labeled as from fruiting tree. That means that I'm sorry. That means that it did not come from the mycelium, which means it's not from underneath the tree. It's growing off the side of the tree. So you wanted to say that. In fact, if you Google images of fruiting chaga mushroom trees, it'll show you because for tree, chaga mushrooms are cancer. Technically, mushrooms are tree cancer, but it leaches out. Listen, mushrooms are not allowed to grow on anything that is not already dead, or and anytime you see a mushroom growing or a fungus growing on the side of something that isn't dead, that just means if it's growing on the side of a living tree, that means that the mycelium are spreading in such a way where they can keep eating the dead bark as it moves forward, or as it's excreted or pushed out from the rings. So it's eating that, and that's what's allowing them to grow. And sometimes it's not enough nutrients, and sometimes there's too much toxicity underneath the tree's bark for the mushrooms to do anything more than just grow. No, just grow on the sides. And that's why you find a tree that's really tall sometimes with a mushroom that might have been growing on the side, but as the bark falls off.
I think you can order on Amazon the pack.
I would definitely not get it from Amazon.
Oh, okay.
I would definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, no, because Jeff Bezos dirty in this thing too. You'll see. Don't worry. It's coming up, and I'll read you something about that later. But so you have the chaga mushrooms. But also another thing that will definitely help you is that you definitely want to have in your vitamins. I'm sorry, what?
Big boots and Scotch Guard.
You want some big boots and Scotch Guard, man. So, like, in fact, Scotch Guard,
I bet you.
Well, no, Scotch Guard, not just for your shoes. You know, if you have some clothes that you only want to wear outside, as this thing starts to unfold in a very ugly kind of way, you're going to have some. You're going to, or as it becomes more obvious what's happening. Let me say it that way. As it becomes more obvious what's really going on, and you start to discover certain aspects of this for yourself, you're going to want. In fact, I encourage everyone to buy a pair of coveralls. And zip up coveralls, preferably, right? Zip up coveralls with a high collar.
Oh my
You're gonna want
high collars, so like turtlenecks and stuff, so you can cover your mouth and your nose.
Well, no, I would not cover my mouth with the thing that I'm going to have to spray off, or at least that I'm going to be sweating on anyway. No, what I'm saying is that you're going to want to spray that with Scotch Guard, and the reason why I'm saying that is because. The reason why I'm saying that you're going to probably have some garment that you wear outside that you spray with that, other than probably a raincoat too, or at least a poncho, is you're going to be spraying this with Scotch Guard because what the Scotch Guard is going to.
Are you actually implementing all this stuff where you're at? Are you actually implementing all this stuff where you're at?
I'm in a position where I'm looking at the availability of resources and supplies. I mean, like, honestly, I have something way more complicated planned, but I'm telling everybody what's
serious. Whoa.
Yeah. I'm joking about it. Like, I mean, listen, like, I'm telling you, like, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm going to, because I still have to get on a plane at some point. Like, at some point within the next 8 months, I still have to get on a plane and go back to America. And when I go back, I got to, you know what I mean? Like, all I want to do is get on that plane, not have to use the bathroom, which means I'm going to buy adult diapers, right? So, because I don't want to sit anywhere, you know, that means I'm going to have a really full stomach, and that also means that I'm going to have to probably have underneath my garments, you know, a juice box or two. But again, drinking a juice. So I mean, we're talking about, like, I have to plan to not unseal myself. I'm talking about not wanting to, what's the word I'm looking for? Not wanting to unseal myself, not wanting to use the bathroom, not wanting to physically touch anything, making sure that my undergarments are in such a way where if I sweat, it's going to pull the sweat off of me, but not cause any trouble or chafing between myself and the garments I have to wear while I'm traversing. Because, I mean, I'm going to look ridiculous, but I'm going to die an old man. I'm winning. So for that reason, I'm saying that if you get the Scotch Guard and you spray on your coveralls or whatever clothes you're going to be wearing,
you're totally serious. I don't mean to. This is very serious.
I'm totally serious. Yeah,
it's very serious.
And the reason why, it's very serious. And the reason why is because you're going to probably use a lot of. I would suggest multiple coats of Scotch Guard, and the reason why I'm suggesting multiple coats of Scotch Guard is because you want to be able to get an instant bead effect. In fact, I would even suggest, if you have the money, buy one of those shirts or those pairs of pants that in fact, there's tons of new nano coating particle treatments that you can get to your garments. So if you do step in the mud and it's filthy and it's got, bacteria in it, I've seen people step deep in mud with one boot treated and one boot not treated, and as soon as they bring their feet back out, the untreated boot, filthy, gunky, stuff's not separating. The boot that's been treated, the mud falls off like it was, Play-Doh being peeled off of a table. So you want that so that way, even though the water with bleach in it or ammonia is hot, or peroxide is hot, it will just beat up on your exterior. And this might sound crazy, but until you really need that, I would hope that everyone reflects on this and says, that actually wasn't a bad idea, or actually this idea is based. Because people may come up with better ideas. People may come up with better ideas, but at least if they're coming up with better ideas, they have some sort of general idea to base it around of, like, okay, how am I doing this? Next is you're going to need to spray down with Lysol and then probably bleach, definitely some peroxide, alcohol, In fact, 90% alcohol while we can still get it before the supply runs out. You're going to want to run